Hello, hi, welcome back. If you found your way here, you are obviously lost, but that's okay, because so am I. I'd like to give a shout out to Beanie Crystal on Instagram because she helped me come up with some of these questions. She's a total sweetheart. I'll link her down below so you can go check her out or follow her or whatever. She's super sweet. She helped me come up with some of these questions, so hi. Today I come with a very special surprise. I've created my own tag. And I know it probably seems kind of conceited, whatnot, but here's why. So I wanted to create my own tag because I've been thinking a lot about how my beauty habits affect the environment. And when I was thinking about that, I thought about a bunch of questions that I wanted to ask myself and other creators on the platform about their beauty habits and what they think about the beauty community and if it's wasteful or how they try and reduce waste or if they even think about it. Because I feel like it's one of those things that you don't even notice unless you think about it. Like, I remember I went into a grocery store after reading about zero waste groceries, and everywhere I looked, suddenly I noticed that everything was coated in plastic. So I feel like it's the same when I look at my beauty collection. Until I thought about, going zero waste beauty and like trying to minimize it, I never even realized how much plastic there was. I will be tagging some creators that I really like at the end, and maybe they'll see this, maybe they won't. But if you're not tagged and you still want to do it, please do it, and please let me know because I'd love to watch. And before we get into it, today's reusable drinking apparatus is this Starbucks cup. I bought it for 47 cents at a thrift store, and today I actually took it to Dutch Bros Coffee and was able to use it instead of them handing me, one of the to-go mugs that has plastic on it. So that was really great that they allowed me to use it. I'm super happy. No problems with it. So if you ever go to Dutch Bros Coffee, bring a reusable mug. I also have my little turtle earrings in that were gifted to me by my grandma when I was 10 because turtles are one of my favorite animals, and today we'll be talking about saving the turtles. So let's go. All of the questions will be down below along with the people that I tag if you want to go check them out or if you want to do this for yourself. So the first question is, how do you feel about the declutter and haul cycle? I feel like it's changing in the recent years where we used to see a ton of hauls and now we see a ton of declutters. But the reason that they're so prominent is because they do get a lot of views. I feel like it's partly because as humans we have this weird thing where we love comparing ourselves to others and what other people have. Like, I love watching haul and declutter videos because I just like to know what other people have. I don't even think it's about the consumerism sometimes. But then you get channels who are just constantly hauling and decluttering, and they're sending, although they do sometimes give makeup to good causes like women's charities or they give it to their friends and family, I feel like some makeup just isn't very practical for that purpose. Like, how many people need half-used bottles of foundation, or how many people need, bright eyeshadow palettes when they're looking for job interviews? And a lot of people do bring that up when they talk about what they're going to do with their old makeup. They feel like they don't have anywhere to put it. And so for the haul declutter cycle, I just really think people, in my opinion, should consider more what they're buying. And it's okay to declutter. We all need to declutter. If something's not serving you, definitely get it out of your life and definitely give it to someone who will use it. But at the same time, the first R is reduce. Reduce, reuse, recycle. The first one is reduce. So if we reduce, that'll be even better than reusing and recycling. And a really good quote that I heard was, we can't reuse and recycle our way out of this mess. The first step is always going to be to reduce. The second question is, what do you do with products that you don't like or don't use? And this is something that happens to me a lot because I have extremely sensitive skin and I'm extremely sensitive to fragrance, to the point where I can't even run candles in my room because they will give me headaches. I can't use the Fenty lip gloss because that gives me a headache. And my skin breaks out. I have eczema if I use any product that's meant for oily or even combination skin. It has to be super sensitive. So I often end up with like sample sizes of products like the Glam Glow Mud Mask that I can't even use. Or I had a MAC oil control thing. I couldn't even use it. So I always give that to friends and family if I can. But yeah, I don't really have any eyeshadow or anything that I don't like or feel like I should give away. The next question is, do you have any products that were given to you by friends who didn't like them? And for makeup, I don't have anything that was, or skincare, I don't have anything that was gifted to me by someone who just didn't like it. I don't know, I just don't swap makeup that often maybe, but I do have other things in my life like purses, wallets that have been swapped, or even clothing that we swap amongst each other to give it a second like a second home, a second life. So while I don't have any makeup like that, I I do have other things like that, and I'd be curious to know if anyone else has makeup like that, because I feel like, people who have more friends who are into makeup or closer near them probably do have stuff like that. Question number 4 is, what is the biggest waste of packaging that you have seen, in your opinion? And I'd have to say it's a tie between two things. It's a tie between pallets of singles that come all individually wrapped in plastic, because every time you have to take one of those out, you're wasting that much plastic, and it just drives me insane. Just shove them all in the pallet and ship it like that. I know that there are risks with them falling out or whatever, but I'd rather have it fall out and have to repress it than have to have all of that waste. And then the second thing that is tied with that is single-use sheet masks. This one is the sample that I got in some box that I canceled a long time ago. I've never used it because I'm too scared for my sensitive skin to use it. But these are so wasteful because you only get to use it once, and you're wasting this much plastic. That's like 4 by 3 inches, and you just waste all of that. Like, you just have to throw it away. And a lot of people do these multiple times a week, so I can't even imagine. I feel like it would be much smarter or better to buy, a mask that comes in a tub and use that. And I know people have sanitary issues with that, but I feel like it would be a lot better. And if there are preservatives in it, I really don't see the whole argument of, oh, it's not sanitary. And preservatives, despite what people may think, are not actually bad for you. Like, there's very little research to show that certain preservatives like parabens that we're always scared of are actually bad. Next question is, does wasteful packaging deter you from buying a product? And I'd say no. In the past, no, at least. This has been fairly new that I've been trying to have a more eco routine, because I realized in other aspects of my life I would go out of my way to bring reusable shopping bags, to use metal straws, to use reusable cups, reusable drinking apparatuses. I'd go out of my way to do that, but then when it came to makeup and skincare, I was just like, it doesn't matter, like, it's fine, it's little, it doesn't matter. But if you think about it, if you have 100 tubes of lipstick, that's 100 pieces of plastic that are this big that won't decompose or anything and will last in the environment for like 100 years. That's longer than I'm gonna live, and I don't really feel comfortable with that. Going into the future, that's why I want to be more conscientious and more knowledgeable about that, and see if, things are wrapped in plastic or they're single use. I don't want to be using those anymore. So I will say now and going forward, I will not be I'll be deterred from buying things that have excessive plastic packaging. Next is, what is your favorite plastic-free packaging item in your collection? And mine would have to be these little cardboard palettes from Shop Miss A. You can buy them in this small size, or you can buy them in a bigger size. And as you can see, I have a panned bronzer in here that I took out of its plastic packaging and put in here because its plastic packaging was broken. So this is a favorite because not only can I reuse it multiple times, but it allows me to get more use out of products that, their packaging has fallen apart. Because that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is when the packaging falls apart. I feel like I can't take it anywhere, I can't do anything with it. I feel like I just have to leave it and not really use it, and I don't like that. So this is a great buy if you have things that, are falling apart. You can put multiple pans in here and you can reuse this over and over and over again, and it's all cardboard and little metal magnets. So eventually it'll decompose at least faster than plastic, which is what I really like about it. My most waste-producing product in my collection / habit is the little samples that you can get at Sephora. So you might be thinking, well, isn't that a good thing, because you can try it out before buying the full size and then save the plastic? And for some people it might be, but for me, I already know that medically I have seriously sensitive skin. I get eczema breakouts. It's just a whole mess. So I already know, and I'm allergic to fragrances. So I already know that most products will not work for me and will create problems. So I don't know why every time I go into Sephora, I feel the need to get little primers or, little skincare items or foundations, because I don't even wear foundation because it's like bothers my skin so much. So I don't know why every time I go in, I feel like I need to get one of these. I don't know why. It's so stupid and it never works out for me. It's always a mess. And when I do want to buy a new product, my plan going forward is to go into the store, swatch it on my arm, that way I can smell it, and then I can give my skin a day to react to see if it'll irritate it. Because if you don't know, when you have eczema and contact dermatitis, which are both what I have, when you get in contact with something, it can take a couple hours for it to show up. So maybe like I can go into Sephora and swatch something on my arm and then walk around a little bit or go run other errands and come back the next day if it's something that I really want and if it's something that didn't irritate me. And another thing that I should do is stop buying things if I can't smell them first, because I bought that damn Fenty Gloss Bomb and I didn't smell it, and every time I wear it, it gives me a serious migraine level headache because the scent is just too much for me. And I know a lot of people love it, but for me it's just too much. So I'm definitely going to be quitting this because this is my most wasteful thing in my collection. My least waste producing product in my collection is a tie between two things. So the first thing is this microfiber cloth. I use this to get my makeup off. I use it when I wash my face. It's a gentle exfoliator. It's really soft. I wipe my brushes on it when I want to switch colors. It can be used over and over again. I use it for a couple of days and then I throw it in the wash. It's good as new. It does stain. That's the only issue with it, but if you're fine with a little staining, this is way more sustainable than makeup wipes, because makeup wipes you have to throw away every time you use them, basically, and you have to throw away the packaging that they come in, which is often like, you know, that type of thick plastic that you can't really do anything with, and that ends up just in the ocean or in a landfill somewhere. So these are much better, much more sustainable products, and they create absolutely zero waste in my collection, especially when you use a laundry detergent and wool dryer balls that don't contain chemicals and don't even put any chemicals in when you're washing it. So this is one of my most sustainable items in my collection. So another one that I have that you might get thrown off by is non-chemical sunscreen. This is mineral sunscreen. It's from the brand Blue Lizard, and yes, it does come in plastic, I know, but it's a fairly big bottle. And the thing about mineral sunscreen that makes it different from chemical sunscreen is chemical sunscreen is not reef safe. So whenever you hear about reef bleaching or the Great Barrier Reef dying off, it's because of chemicals like sunscreen chemicals that get into the water and end up bleaching the reefs. So this is a very sustainable habit, I feel like. Even though, yes, it does come in plastic, at least the chemicals that are coming off of it aren't that dangerous for the environment. And the only downside that I can say for this is if you have skin darker than me, it does leave a white cast for a while. It takes a while to sink into the skin, and if you have oily skin, this probably isn't a good idea either, because it works really well with my dry skin, but it does kind of leave an oil on your face a little. So if you don't like that, I wouldn't recommend this, but there are plenty of other mineral sunscreens out there for you to try and for you to save the turtles with. Next is, what steps do you think the beauty community could take to reduce waste? And there are a lot of them. So let me start off by saying using products with less plastic on them. I have two eyeliner pencils right here. This one is completely plastic, and this one is wood with a bit of a plastic cap. Now the reason why I feel like this one is better is because the shavings that come off of this every time you twist it can be composted, and the end nub, when you get all done with it, can also be composted. Whereas this one, as soon as you're done with it, all of this plastic is trash. So it's the difference between a cap and a whole eyeliner pencil basically being thrown away. So that's one thing where we could use more wood and more cardboard instead of using plastic. Another example is plastic pallets instead of cardboard pallets. Plastic pallets obviously all have to get thrown away, but cardboard pallets you can decompose, and especially if they're a single pallet where you can pop the metal pans in, that's even better, because then you can choose your shades, you can do whatever you want, like a singles palette. Those are really great. So that's my first thing that I would say, is to just find more products with less plastic on them, and then to use more sustainable materials whenever we can. Another thing to do is to scrape out containers. So let's say I get this sunscreen all the way done. There's still often sunscreen left in it. I just have to cut open the container and scrape it open. And to do that, I put it in here, this little container that has a different sunscreen that I've used up. And then I can use the rest of this without any problem, and I can reuse this container over and over again. So that kind of saves a little bit, and it saves you a little bit of money too, because you don't constantly have to rebuy things, and you can get the most use out of your product. Next is shipping and PR. I feel like they kind of bundle together. When you get shipped something, you often have a lot of plastic packaging surrounding it, and they kind of want to protect it, right? Because it's powders, it's things that can easily break. Sometimes it's even glass containers. So you want to protect it by having all of that plastic. However, that's not great. So whenever we can, we should be shopping in store, looking for things in store, or buying and having it shipped to the store, because when you buy and have it shipped to the store, the company can ship it with a bunch of other people's orders too. So you're taking all of the gas and all of the energy required to get your order to you and just combining it with a bunch of other people. It's like carpooling. It's like carpooling for packages, which is way better, and just not shopping online in general and trying to minimize that as much as possible, especially from Amazon. However, I understand I live in a rural area. If you do have to buy from Amazon, I believe there is a way where you can ask them to only use paper and cardboard in your package, which is a great option. And also just pushing brands to do that kind of thing where you can use sustainable packing. They have like eco packing or whatever, I think that's the brand, and they can use that. So just pushing people to not shop online as much as they can, or make sure it's sustainable if they are shopping online. I feel like PR links into that, because when you have a bunch of PR that's getting sent out in like the huge boxes, and a lot of people have been talking about this isn't like a new concept that I've just created, but I just think it's one of the things that we could really be doing, is making sure that the PR isn't huge and crazy and extravagant and is just like the products, and not only just the products, but only the products that that person would need. Like, you don't need to be sending someone like me a super dark foundation, because what the hell am I going to do with that, right? It's probably just going to get either donated to someone who may not even want it, or it's going to end up in the trash. So back to my 3 R's, reducing what we send in PR. The final question is like a bonus question. So I want the creators who do this to think up a question that pertains to sustainability and beauty and ask other people that they tag it. Because, I mean, you know, I get to ask a bunch of questions. Why don't you get to ask one? So my question is, what do you think about Tarte's scandal where they put a sticker over unused empty pallets for, I believe it was Icy Betch? In my opinion, I don't think that's bad. I think that's great, where they're trying to use up stock and get rid of it and still make something that people want, make a product that people will buy instead of just throwing it into the landfill. I think Makeup Geek is also doing this with their singles palettes, and that's why the pans don't fit right now for their matrix system. So I have no problem with using up old stock to the best of your ability so that it gets used instead of just dumped in a landfill. So I don't really think it was a scandal. It didn't really offend me that much that you put a sticker over something. I mean, pretty sure half my makeup is just stickers over things. Like, it doesn't really bother me. Packaging has never been something that I'm like, oh, it needs to be like absolutely pristine and perfect. Packaging is packaging, and quite frankly, I'd prefer a sticker over packaging than the stupid ABH packaging where like the velvet gets all messy and dirty. As long as it doesn't get messy and dirty, I'm fine with it, so it didn't really bother me. That completes the eco beauty tag that I've created. Let me know what you think down below, or answer these questions for me down below if you don't have a channel. Or if you have a channel, I am now tagging you. I'm now hereby tagging you, and you have to join. And also, please show me your reusable drinking apparatus, because I love reusable cups, as you probably know by this point. So yes, everyone is tagged. You can find the questions down below. Once again, shout out to Beanie Crystal for the help with these questions. Thank you so much. And now let's get into who I am personally tagging. A couple of creators who I would love to see do this tag are Emily Hanhan. So a little note about her, she's super sweet. Her channel is super relaxing. If you haven't already found her, she's wonderful. I've been following her since she had about 100 subscribers, and she's just amazingly sweet and amazingly kind, and she makes the most delicious looking food. Teresa is Dead is obviously kind of maybe a reach, but I really love her. I love her sense of humor. I love her stories are hilarious. She just seems like a really fun person to be around, and she has the most amazing collection, so I love to know her thoughts on this and if she has any sustainable products in her collection, because she has just the dream collection of dream collections. Next up is 90s Love Child. She has some of the most iconic looks and the most iconic wigs I've ever seen. She's also someone that I've been following since she was very small, and I just love her so much. She's so fun, she's so sweet, and her background is always amazing. I'd also love to see Spooky Lips and Fat Hips do this tag because she's an anthropology student, or was, and I'd love to see her thoughts on this and her thoughts based on like human nature or whatnot. So that would be a great person to see. I also just love her makeup style. It's very avant-garde. I just peak makeup. And another is Yana Beauty. She's really cool. She does a bunch of things here on YouTube. Love her looks, definitely. And then also Mascara Cakes. She's someone that I follow on Twitter. She does very beautiful looks. Her too. I've been following her for a while. Both of them, love them. And then the very last one is Smoky Glow because I feel like she has such great commentary, but I never really see eco commentary from her. I do see some wasteful things, like when she was commenting on the Makeup Geek shadows and how they were all individually packaged, or when she comments on maybe Amazon sometimes. So I'd love to see her do it and love to hear her opinion because she's just someone whose opinion I really trust. And I feel like in the beauty community, her opinion is very well noted and well heard, well listened to. So I'd love to see all of them do the tag. I understand that they probably don't have time, or, you know, whatever. No one has time, so I get it. But those are the people that I'd love to see do this. However, like I said, if you have a channel or if you just want to answer in the comments, you're also tagged. With that, I am going to peace out and continue drinking from my reusable drinking apparatus and saving the turtles because turtles are one of my favorite animals. And yeah, that's all. So thank you for watching this far. Thanks for making it through. This is my first tag, so maybe it won't go that well. Who knows? But until the next time, bye.